People are suffering. People are dying. Entire ecosystems are collapsing. We are in the beginning of a mass extinction, and all you can talk about is money and fairy tales of eternal economic growth. How dare you?
ओ बेटा जी, ओ बेटा जी, अरे ओ बाबू।
Recently, India has witnessed a glacier burst in Uttarakhand, which is a very unreal and extreme kind of event. So, the question of the day is this a consequence of climate change? First of all, we need to know what is climate change. There are basically two terms, climate variability and climate change. Climate variability includes all the variations in the climate that last longer than individual weather events. Whereas the term climate change only refers to those variations that persist for a longer period of time, typically decades or more. Do you know, the planet's average surface temperature has risen about 0.9 degrees Celsius since the late 19th century. Most of the warming occurred in the past 35 years. Here, we can clearly conclude that the world is witnessing climate change. It is not just a variation in weather events, but a long-term phenomenon. Now, let me tell you some more evidences of the climate change. First, as I already told you about, is global temperature rise. Second, decreased snow cover. Satellite observations reveal that the amount of spring snow cover over the northern hemisphere has decreased over the past 5 decades, and that the snow is melting earlier. Third, warming oceans. The top 700 meters of ocean showing warming of more than 0.4 degree Fahrenheit since 1969. Fourth, sea level rise. Global sea level rose about 8 inches in the last century. Fifth, glacial retreat. Let us move forward and see what are the reasons behind such event. The most important among all is the land used pattern in India. Means we very easily spoil the biodiversity of any region to utilize it for our own benefits. Example, constructing houses, properties, resorts, dams, etc., which are actually not very sustainable for our future generations. Use of chemical fertilizers, pesticides in agriculture, which emit nitrogen, carbon, phosphorus, pollutants in the environment. Vehicular emissions, mainly private vehicles, are also one of the most important factors of this change. GHGs emission through industries. Use of unsustainable fossil fuels such as coal, petroleum, oil, gas to generate electricity in manufacturing, etc. Extreme heat, changing rainfall patterns, droughts, floods, glacier melting, sea level rise are the clear manifestations of climate change.
Now, the day after the 2020 elections, the U.S. will formally withdraw from the Paris Climate Agreement. That's the voluntary global accord signed in 2015 by nearly 200 nations to cut greenhouse gases to slow the warming of our planet.
So, the question is, are we really, world in general and India in particular, prepared for such events? See, we were aware about such future threats since 1970s. Even India is among the pioneer countries which has raised the issue of climate change in various global platforms. Some of the steps taken by India are: first, National Action Plan on Climate Change. It includes use of clean and renewable sources of energy, sustainable agriculture, promoting Green India, increase women participation in tackling climate change, preserving Himalayan ecosystem. Second, Paris Climate Change Agreement. Under the agreement, 40% of the India's power capacity would be based on non-fossil fuel sources by 2030. It means non-fossil fuel sources means clean energy sources. Example, solar, geothermal, wind, waste, tidal, etc. And will create an additional carbon sink of 2.5 to 3 billion tons of CO2. Carbon sink here means to grow fixed amount of plants which are capable of absorbing fixed amount of CO2 present in the atmosphere through the process of photosynthesis. Third, International Solar Alliance to promote solar energy. Fourth, BS norms or Bharat stage norms. Pollution from vehicles are one of the top contributors to air pollution. BS norms are the tried and tested global practices which we can utilize to reduce vehicular emissions. Recently, government has switched from BS4 norms to directly BS6 norms. Last, I want to ask you, can we really do something to at least minimize it? The answer is yes, a big yes. Why can't we grow one plant on our birthdays, anniversaries, marriages? Why can't we choose simple living over hi-fi lavish lifestyle? Why can't we, a bit, change ourselves for our nature, flowers, trees, rivers, which even in their passive stage, just giving us unconditionally? Do you like boat riding? Are you planning to go to Goa to see beaches? Have you done your evening walk in the park? On this question, your girl Shubh Nandwani is signing off. If you like this video, do subscribe my channel. Do comment down below what do you guys want me to make video on. And if you like this kind of content, if you really like, then hit like button.